So you think you're not creative?
What, did God like skimp out on me when it came to the creativity gene? Why couldn't I think of that? Look at what these people are doing. That is creativity. I'm not creative.
Hello, lovelies. Welcome to Anita's World, a safe space for everyone. In today's video, I want to discuss the topic of creativity. The word creativity was something that I never really resonated with. I never really identified with up until I'd say maybe this year. It's still something that I struggle with identifying as or seeing myself as a creative person, despite people having told me that, like, Anita, you are creative, and being able to point to things that I've done that are testaments to my creativity. This YouTube channel, I create these videos, I edit them. That requires creativity. But for some reason, it's still hard for me to identify with that. In high school, a lot of my friends were artists. They knew how to do things that made me feel like they had something within them that did not exist within me. I felt like, what, did God like skimp out on me when it came to the creativity gene? Like, that is truly how I felt. When I go on Instagram, when I go on, even YouTube, and I see these people creating these cinematic videos, I'm not creative. Like, look at what these people are doing. That is creativity. I know that if I feel this way, I know that there's a lot of similarities within the collective and how we feel. I know that there's other people that are feeling this way, despite the fact that we are in this era of content creators and influencers. But I do think that there are a lot of us, especially if you're someone like me who always considered themselves to be more analytical. I majored in finance. Most of the roles that I've been in throughout my life have been very data driven, and so that's kind of what I had kind of boxed myself into, is like, I'm this analytical person, I'm not creative. But I actually wanted to look up the word creativity and see what that definition was and some synonymous words. And so the definition on Google is: creativity is the use of the imagination or original ideas, especially in the production of an artistic work. Okay, now some words that are synonymous with creativity is imagination, innovation, individuality, inspiration, expressiveness, what else? Resourcefulness, vision. So when I read those words, especially the individuality, the expressiveness and inspiration, it lets me know that creativity is something that is within me, and it's not something that I need to feel like I need to emulate what someone else is doing. I had this minimalistic view of what creativity was. I also think I compared creativity with talent a lot. So I felt like, well, I don't have these talents. I don't have the talent of drawing or painting or singing or dancing. That was my view of creativity. And I feel like that is a very limited view of what creativity is. And I feel like we limit ourselves when we have this idea of this is what is creative and this is what's not. And so I was watching this video with HINDZ, and I really liked the way that he described creativity as a muscle. It's something that you have to exercise.
Work out your body. And the same thing goes with our creativity. It's a muscle. It's actually a discipline, and you discipline yourself so you can be able to flow. And to me, it's actually like a requirement for personal development. I have learned more about myself from creativity than I have from any book, from any other person. But my creative expression, diving into the process, I've learned more about myself. I've always said, it's like my creative process is like prayer. It's like a devotion. It's like a spiritual practice. It's a personal development tool. tool.
And coming back to the originality piece, I think this is also something that's big for me when it comes to creativity, because I see people create something and I'm like, wow, like, why couldn't I think of that? Why, you know, or maybe I did think of it, but they executed it in a way that is way better than I could have ever done it. But I think true originality comes from within, and when we are creating from a place of authenticity, because no one is going to be able to convey a message in the way that you can. No one is going to be able to edit a video in the way that you do. Like, no one's going to be able to do what you do. Even if they try to emulate it, there's always going to be that aspect of you that is in it, and no one else is you. And so I feel like that is how I found peace within my creativity and found strength in it. And also just looking at it as a muscle to exercise. I actually started my YouTube to exercise my creativity and get comfortable in my authentic expression. So am I the best at editing videos? No. You know, am I the best at creating content? No. But when I do sit down to film these videos and then I go back and I edit these videos, I'm learning something new and I'm exercising my creativity. You know, I'm like, oh, well, what if I put this filter on? Or what if I add this to the text? And what if I change the font here? And what if I zoom in here? And what if I zoom out there? And what if I add this transition? Like, what would that look like? And so these are all ways of me being able to practice my creativity. And ultimately, that is what creativity is. It is a practice, and it shows up in our daily life, and it shows up in ways that I don't even think that we recognize. I was looking back at some of the jobs I've had, some of the things that I've done in my past, and these are things that I didn't really recognize them as creativity, or I didn't recognize that these are ways that I was drawing on my creativity. I was thinking about just like my current job, right? I think I mentioned this before, but I always saw myself as analytical and creativity as something completely separate from that. And I think there's a lot of other people who may be able to relate. You may be very analytical or technical, and you may feel like you lack the fluidity of creativity. But I think they coexist with each other. So like, even when I'm building out these reports and creating graphs and charts and telling stories with data, there is a level of creativity that is involved in that, because anyone can throw some numbers on a chart, but to be able to make it in a way that is visually appealing, to make it in a way that's digestible to your audience, to make it in a way that tells a story of what is getting better or what's getting worse, or just driving business decisions in general. And if you've been in school or been in the corporate world, you've likely had to do a report, you've likely had to build a slide deck. Those are all things that require creativity, whether you recognize it as that or see it as that or not. But that is something that is drawing on the creativity that is within you. Another thing I was thinking about was like cooking, you know, being able to take any number of ingredients and prepare a meal out of that, whether you're chopping something up, cooking something on the stove, mixing together ingredients to bake something, and creating something completely different than what the original ingredients were. That is creativity. Putting an outfit together. Whether you think it's the flyest outfit or not, you put an outfit together. You took a shirt and some pants and some shoes and some accessories, and you put together a whole fit. There is a level of creativity within that. I'm like starting to notice the practice of creativity in my everyday life, and it makes me feel affirmed in being creative and knowing that creativity for Anita is gonna look different than creativity for the next person that I see on Instagram or on YouTube. And by simply being me, that is the highest form of creativity. That's the beauty of it. You know, like imagine if everyone created the same? That would get old. I look back at my old videos, which it's funny because I cringe at my old videos, but I'm also like so proud of myself when I look at my old videos, because I'm like, wow, like you created that. You took, you know, this footage and you put it together in a way that is reflective of how you were feeling in that moment. I think that's beautiful. When it comes to creativity, it is within you. It may not show up in ways that you feel proud of. It may not show up in ways that you see or people deem as praiseworthy, that is gonna get you thousands of likes on social media, that's going to make creating your career. And I think if you want that, I believe in the power of manifestation, so I think that that can happen and that can be your truth. But at the same time, I think that we can honor our level of creativity and where we are in our creative journey. And I think the people that we admire their creativity, when we think, wow, like they are doing something or they have something within them that we don't have in ourselves, I think it's just a matter of them exercising that muscle of creativity. I encourage you to think about the ways in which you are creative in your everyday life, right under your nose, and you don't even realize it. You deserve to take up space in your creativity, whether it's writing, whether it's drawing, whether it's painting, whether it's documenting your experiences in life in any form. I think is really beautiful. I really like that type of creativity. I love watching vlogs. I love watching people just like share aspects of their life in a raw and real way. But you are creative. If for 1 second you think you're not creative, I challenge you to make a list of all the things you did within the day or within the week, and I guarantee you there is going to be something that you will find in that list that required some level of creativity. And if you can find just that one little way that you were creative, you cooked a meal, you put together an outfit, you are creative, boo. And it is a gift from God, and I encourage you to practice that. And your creativity can be something that you cherish for yourself. It doesn't have to be shared with the world, but just know that there are people out there that are receptive and will be able to resonate with your art in any form that that shows up in, whether it's creating videos, whether it's singing, whether it's writing, dancing, doing your hair, fashion. So many ways that you can manifest your creativity out into this world, and there are people who will welcome it with open arms. So keep creating from the heart. Even if you think you're not creative, just keep doing it. Just keep doing it because it feels good.